Okay, I believe we can start. So, welcome everyone to the Falco Community call. I want to remind everyone that this call is recorded. So if you don't want to show your video, please turn your camera off. And also this Falco is a project of the CNCF. So the CNCF code of conduct apply to this call. So be kind to each other. I remember you to fill the join the section in the activity. I shared the link in the Zoom chat. And now let's start with the highlight of this week. Federico, it's your turn.
Yeah. After a quite messy week, we finally have the Falco artifacts for devel builds for RAM64. This means that we have the binary packages, the dev packages, and the RPM packages, plus all the Falco Docker images. I think next release, that is okay. I'm already linking to the next point, but if anyone wants to test these development packages, of course, please do it and let us know if there is any issues or any bug you encounter, whatever, any blocker you encounter, basically, because the next release that is possibly a patch release 0.32.1 will include RAM64 official support. So any feedback is really appreciated.
Thank you, Federico. This is really great. Any question? If there are no questions, so we can go to the next point in the agenda. Fede, is your turn again.
Yeah, as I already told, we are possibly thinking about a 0.32.1 patch release. So I think I'm just asking, as a past release manager, I'm just asking if anyone is wondering to be the next release manager.
I would be happy to do it. I think also because there's a bunch of work that I've merged recently with the maintainers about actually going forward with gvisor support, part of which was inside the previous release, and I don't want to inflict any pain on any other release manager, at least in my opinion, if my code crashes very badly. I want to be the one responsible, so I would be happy to drive this release, if of course you know.
Great.
Thank you,
Luca. Do you want to talk a little bit about the gvisor feature?
Yeah, I think I can update on that one. I should have put it in the agenda, actually. Anyways, we have been working we've been mentioning this for a few calls, but we've been working with open source at Google to get support for gvisor events right into Falco. So essentially, gvisor will be able to, you will be able to configure gvisor for whoever uses it. Can configure their own instance to forward events, security events right to Falco. That will work with the existing Falco rules and the existing, everything is supposed to work in the same way it does for host, but it will be able to collect data from all the sandboxes that are running in the system. Of course, this work has started some time ago, and there were already PRs that maintainers and contributors have already seen about parsing these events and connecting to this engine. And at this point, we're going to connect everything together so that people can actually try it out and see how it works. Our friends or people that we have been talking to in the gvisor team are excited to try out this feature. And this next release, I think this next release is a great point to do that. And also, I remember other people in the community are excited and they would love to test drive it, and of course very happy about that as well. I can share more details if anyone has questions, or Lorenz as well has worked with us, and thanks a lot to everyone that also has reviewed the PRs, including Mauro, including Federico, Andrea, and a bunch of folks that have that reviewed our code.
Yeah, if you want to give credits, please add the names of the people that have put in the community. I think they deserve that.
Sure.
Sorry, I cannot hear. Who talked? Vincente, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was just some background noise.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
I wonder if it was a TV.
Yeah, maybe it was. Okay, this is really great. So if I understood correctly, this will be part of the next release. Is that correct, Luca?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Really great. Any question? Okay, no question. So we can go to the next point. I see Federico is candidating as Falco maintainer. I believe you mean to the Falco core repo. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've been doing lots of stuff lately. Okay, my screen died for a second. I've been doing a lot of stuff lately for ARM64 support, and some more features that were merged for the 0.32 release cycle. And I think I'm now in a good position to, be as helpful as possible in the Falco community, at least.
I can just say that I worked on zillion of pull requests with you on Falco, so I can be only happy. Okay, for me, I don't know if there is also other maintainers in this. I see Jason. Okay,
yeah, there's me, and it's a big plus from my side. Not only you deserve it, in my opinion, but we also sort of need more participations, on the approver side. So it will be very helpful to have you and help with the code base. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm super happy to hear this, and +1.
Thank you, Jason.
Have you already opened the pull request on?
No, I will tomorrow.
Okay, just open the pull request. We will leave it open for a while, usually a week. So if other maintainers want to say something, want to express their vote, so they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also a new maintainer, and I would like to give a +1 also. Federico's been very helpful to me and getting this ARM64 stuff into the driver kit. So thank you.
Yeah, this is good. Thank you, David.
Even if I
By the way,
my stuff in every way.
By the way, thank you, David. By the way, I want to say that everyone can become a maintainer. We always need more people. Our governance model described the process to become a maintainer. Of course, you can become a maintainer of the main repository or also another repository, depending on what you are interested. For example, David joined recently the driver kit repository, and I'm very happy with that. So if someone is interested in helping us and start the process to become maintainer, just contact us, write in the channel or whatever. We will be very happy. Okay. Question? I think no. I can go to the next point. Okay, this basically is not a really point in the agenda. I just want to inform you that me and Federico will likely to git tag libs and driver very soon. We will do that as described in our proposal that I linked in the Academy. So this is just, I just wanted to inform you, because if you see a git tag in libs and driver, it's something that never happened before. We will probably use some. We will use somewhere for git tagging libs and drivers, but at the beginning we'll probably use some pre-version or some pre-release tag, because we need just to experiment with the CI to see if everything works as expected. And probably before the next release, that should be the 0.32.1, we will have an official tag, at least for the drivers. I don't know if we are in time also for libs, but for sure, I believe we will have an official tag for the drivers.
Did we discuss how the SimVer will work for pre-releases? Are we going to use like RC suffixes, or what's the plan?
Yeah. SimVer described it in detail. Basically, everything that has a dash after the version number is a pre-release.
Mm-hmm.
We probably use alpha, beta, or RC when we are sure that we are going to release it.
Cool.
Consider that probably the first git tag will be just a dummy tag that we will use only for the CI.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for the driver, we will start from version 1.0. On the other hand, for libs, we will probably keep some version number that start with 0.30. My idea was just to count how many libs version we already used in the past and just use that number. The reason behind this is explained in the proposals.
Thanks.
Anyway, in general, the point is that the driver interface is mature enough to say that it's stable. It has not changed a lot in the last, I don't know, 7 years. On the other hand, the libs APIs are still not so stable. So we want to maintain the 0. something version schema for the libs.
Leo, is there going to be like a set of release notes that sort of document, some of the major changes to the API, and also to the dependencies? Because I find that when we upgrade, those tend to be the two big things that can cause some issues. So it'd be nice to have like a spot where there's just like maybe some notes or something on just what sort of changed with the release in terms of APIs and dependencies.
Yeah, sure. Something is already documented in the code and also in the proposal. Basically, the point is this: if you are a libs consumer, in theory, you shouldn't care about the driver version, because basically the libs, since the libs cap will embed the minimum API version supported by the driver. Okay, so in theory, this is enough to check if your driver is compatible or not. Anyway, we for sure will document how to bundle the version, how the compatibility will work. In general, each version number, every version number you will see is somewhere, so you can compare it using the somewhere rules and understand if the version is compatible or not.
I read the proposal before, but now I'm confused, Leo. You mentioned that the driver would go with major release starting at 1, and the libs would be a O dot something. So how does this work with the rule of compatibility that you just described from driver to user space?
Okay, those are two completely different version numbering. Okay. Basically, the point is this: internally, the boundary between the kernel and the user space is versioned using two numbers. One number is regarding the, I don't know where is it written. It should be written somewhere, maybe in the other proposal.
Server schema. At the link of the amendment, the second one.
Exactly. Basically, the point is this. There are two things that are versioned internally. One is the driver API version, that basically the API that libscap should use to talk with the driver. And the other one is the schema version. The schema version describes the schema of the events that are sent by the driver to the user space. Okay.
So basically, what's the event table?
Exactly.
Right. So the schema version will dictate compatibility, I guess. Right.
Exactly.
I see.
But also, basically, we have just one version number for the driver. That is the merge of these two numbers. I just said the merge, but basically is the rules to calculate the number are explained here. Okay. The concept is very simple. Every time one of these two versions introduce a breaking change, that breaking change is also reflected in the driver version number. Okay. Internally, libsynth and libscap just use this. Just use API version and schema version to check the compatibility. So basically, we possibly have that libsynth and libscap works with a range of driver version. Okay. And if you read this proposal, you can find a way to calculate if it's compatible or not. I don't know if I replied to your question.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I forgot about the schema version. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. And also there is, in general, there is one thing that will continue to work. If you for example, build a specific lib version, okay, inside the HMake of that libs version, there will be a driver version. Okay, so basically, if you build everything starting from the lib version, everything will work as before. Okay, that's the main point.
Good.
Okay, I don't know if there are more questions there.
I'd like to remind people, if possible, when changing event table or adding syscalls, to please bump the schema version.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really start doing so.
We have not bumped it yet because the driver not released. But Greg, if I remember correctly, wrote the rules. It should be, yeah, okay. No, this is just, okay. Okay, those are the instructions to increment the two internal version. I will write a release document, and in the release document, I will state that it is the releaser responsibility to check that the old version number have been bundled correctly before git tagging a driver or a lib version.
Good.
just to don't forget. Any other question? Okay. Okay. Another thing that I want to give you a very quick update. Currently, the Helm chart is not really useful when you want to use plugins. For example, currently the Helm chart supports the Kubernetes audit log via the new plugin, but it still uses a daemon set that, of course, is very suboptimal for the plugin use case, because when you use plugins, in most cases, you don't need to use a daemon set. You just need a deployment with one pod in a cluster. That should be enough. So, starting on that, I found that the Helm chart is very old. There are a lot of things that need to be modernized. So I started to refactoring the Helm chart in a branch. It's still an experiment. I'm working on it. I just wanted to share the branch. So if someone wants to take a look, give some feedback, is welcome. Just this. I will not explain here everything I'm doing on this because it's very, very long to explain. But if you take a look to the commit message, you can understand what I'm doing. And of course, you can ping me at any time on Slack. That's it on my side. The next point in agenda is from David.
Hey, thanks, Leo. So we're about to submit a PR for a new builder for RHEL, and the issue is that to access the kernel headers on RHEL, you need to provide subscription info. I'm gonna paste a message to the chat. So like that's one way of doing it. There's also other ways of passing in your subscription info, but I was just curious how the CNCF would like to handle this upstream, because on our, locally, we can use our own subscription. I assume you guys have a subscription because Red Hat's a sponsor, or are they not? I'm not sure. But yeah, so I was just curious about how we would do that.
Yeah, this is something that I don't have a full answer. The only thing that I know is that the CNCF has a list of third-party allowed license, and I really believe that this subscription is not included on that.
But they do not included on that, probably.
No, I'm pretty sure, because are only open source license. For example, some time ago, I asked them if we could use the UBI image, because we have, and they haven't replied yet. So I really don't know, because we have an image here that uses UBI. Don't remember, it's here, okay. Yeah. And the UBI image has not an open source license. It just uses an EULA. I don't know. Yes, EULA.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I really don't know. But it's something that we should ask. I guess that since this is not open source stuff, probably we cannot distribute some those artifacts on our channel, but I'm not sure.
In our internal deployment where we use the UBI, we had the subscription password and user set as secrets, Docker secrets. So we had an internal CI/CD that would build the images for that particular deployment. That's how we handle it internally. It would be cool to have a subscription for Falco. Yeah.
But if I understood correctly, the issue is different because okay, we could have a license, a subscription or whatever, but then with that subscription we will build some artifact and then we will distribute them.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah,
I don't believe that the CNCF will allow that.
I see.
Because,
I don't either.
Because basically we will distribute some stuff that is not fully open source.
I see.
Yeah,
We
would
can
be
ask.
building
We
it.
can ask.
We would be building it using
Mhm.
the Falco license, but then distributing it to folks is different because then I guess you would want, I guess RHEL would want the folks to use their license information to load the driver, not yours.
Probably.
I don't
So
even
that's-
know how this works because you
Yeah,
have a
not a lawyer.
UBI on top of RHEL system. So does the license that takes effect is actually the RHEL one, you know? So I need to educate myself on the UBI, how it actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I believe that I even don't know where is the right place to ask, because for example for the UBI image I use the service desk, that is a tool provided to CNCF maintainers. I have no idea. We should ask in their channel.
We could also ask Kirsten. She was not too long ago chatting with us in the Falco channel. Kirsten Newcomer. You could probably tag her directly, Dave.
Yeah, really good idea.
She can find the answer probably.
Just to reply to Vincent, yes, UBI is freely distributable, but the CNCF has a list of allowed license, and of course the UBI license is not included on that. Let me check if I find the link.
Maybe there is a TAG group in the CNCF that can handle this kind of questions.
I don't know.
Maybe the contributor strategy one. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, so just to give you a bit of context, this is the document where they describe the approved license. Basically, the point is this: the default CNCF license is only Apache 2. Okay, but over the time they created a list and a low list, and in the low list they included just those licenses. Everything else we should ask. For everything else. This is what I know. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I understood. I leave the link here. Maybe it can be useful.
And do CentOS headers, or I don't know whether UBI repos come with kernel headers or something like Oracle, would any of those that are more freely distributed work on a to build RHEL.
I guess the point is the support later, right, Taro? I mean, folks who are health shops, they want to have the full stack support. I think that's the business model for the UBI. And that's what I don't know. Maybe you can package the UBI, distribute it, but the license is transferred for the folks who owns the health stack. I don't know. That may be the way it works. We need to ask them.
So I think it's two different things, because UBI is just the image, but in order to build the drivers, what you actually need is the kernel headers, which UBI has none of those, because UBI is not a distro. There's no UBI kernel.
Correct. Yeah, I don't think there would be a problem for. I don't think there would be a problem for distributing a UBI-based image, but I agree with the thing you just said. Yeah,
indeed, we are allowed to add the Docker file for UBI, because I really believe that there should be no issue with the UBI. But for distributing driver, I think it's a different issue.
Also, our driver is dual licensed, right? It's MIT GPL.
Indeed, just to give you a bit more context, if I remember correctly, I was not a Falco maintainer yet at that time, but I remember that in libs we have a notice file where we explain that everything under the driver and its subdirector are dual signs with the MIT license and
GPL.
the GPL. Of course, CNCF accepted that because there is no other way to do that.
Yeah.
I believe that the best way to solve this issue is to tag some CNCF fork and ask. Anyway, really good question. Thank you.
So should I do that, or are you guys gonna do it?
Perfect.
If you can do it, that will be fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, I saw that Vincent, the other Vincent, not the same Vincent that I mentioned before, asked about Minikube. Yes, we know that there is an issue with the Minikube. I made that request that was merged, I believe, yesterday on Minikube. Let me check. Because basically the issue with Minikube is that we do not ship a driver for Minikube, but the Minikube distro builds a driver by itself, and the Falco driver is included inside the Minikube distribution. The issue is that the driver was too old. So I made a request. Let me check it. Please.
Thank you, Leonardo. So the thing is that I was trying to test with Minikube, maybe because it could be easier to have some automated test afterwards to launch it and test something. But I understand this is a different issue from the chart and the plugin system. So I will try with a different way of using it that is more standard. Obviously, I'm also interested in using Minikube, but I don't want to mix two different problems because you know how complicated it is. So I don't want to bother you with this. Just to let you know that I was trying to test it. That's all.
No problem. Anyway, just for the benefit of everyone, I made this request, but there are few caveats on that. The first one is that this will go live on the next Minikube release. And the second one is that every time we will change the driver version, Minikube will not work again. Okay, I know that Aldo, I don't know if he is in this. No, he's not here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Are you here? Yeah. I know that Aldo has another solution that should be to distribute a driver for Minikube by ourselves. That
would be a solution. Or otherwise, the end users could just build the ISO image from Minikube. So you just need to follow the documentation, and as you said that you have already merged your PR, so just making the build of the image would also pull the latest version of Falco and will build it. And the user can have a working image of Minikube with Falco. That would be also another solution,
Yeah, although building Minikube on your own takes time. I believe. I never did that, but I believe it takes a bit.
I started to try to do it, and it was not easy, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. Aldo, just a question. Are you working on providing a driver for Minikube or not?
Yeah, the idea was that, but I've been a little bit busy in this latest day. So the idea, is to have a way to build the driver for Minikube and to ship it. So we do not rely anymore on the releases of Minikube to have the latest version of Falco.
Okay, I imagine you want to add it on our driver build grid.
Yeah,
That
the
okay,
idea,
perfect. Okay, great.
Maybe this is not smart, but if it requires few line changes, what about having as an alternative an automated job in Poiana to open a PR in their repo, which doesn't really speed up the shipment process, but at least doesn't require us to do the work to bump the version.
I believe that since the Falco release are very rare, I would say there should be just 4 per years, plus some hot release. I believe we can do that manually. Anyway, it will not solve the issue because just to give an example, I don't know when the next Minikube version will be released, but probably when it will be released, we will have another driver version out. So Minikube will still not work with the latest version of Falco. I believe the only solution is just what Aldo proposed, just to build the driver by ourselves. So that,
if you guys want, there's what we do with Minikube is we actually don't build a full ISO, but we have a bash function that actually extracts the kernel headers, so you can just build with those.
yeah,
So I can share that if you give me a minute.
it would be great. Yeah,
yeah.
I would love to see that.
Mhm.
And as I say, I know Minikube is not a very important target, but it's very good for automation and testing things.
Yeah,
So I
sure,
think
sure.
that's
I
something.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Although I usually use kind, at least on my local environment, because it's I would say it's very easily to change the cluster configuration with kind.
Yep.
I did a lot of experiment with kind. Of course, there are some caveats because, for example, if you if you deploy a cluster with 10 nodes on your machine and you install Falco, you will have a lot of duplicated events because everything is running on the same machine, on the same kernel, even if you are 10 Kubernetes nodes. But other
Well,
than that,
so in my case, I can't use kind because for security reason, I require to use
sure.
for Docker, and kind doesn't understand it very well. And with Minikube, I can use a driver for a virtual machine and sidestep that problem.
Okay, got it.
Also, I have another machine that is a Windows machine, and if I use kind, it's going to use the Docker for Windows that has a kernel that is from Microsoft. That's not going to play well with Falcos.
Mm-hmm. Got it. I got it. Okay. Anyway, for sure, we will keep you posted about Minikube because it's something that we have also in our documentation, our official documentation. For sure, we want that Falco works fine with Minikube. Okay. I believe that we covered everything in the agenda. Is there any other question, any other topics? No? So I believe I can call it a day. I see someone is writing in the chat. Okay, Thomas said that he is using multipass.
Leo, I did have one question. Do you know, does Falco expose the logging of the Falco libs? Like, is there a way to turn on that debug logging? I've answered a few questions in the chat where I think the debug logging for the Falco libs would really help, especially when people have issues with like the sock, like the container.sock, and I always found that the bug logging in the libs, really helps you identify whether you're connecting to the right socket and all that information. So I thought it would be good to potentially add that to the Falco if it doesn't, to the Falco binary if it doesn't expose it. I can't find anywhere.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't remember by heart if we are working with that. I remember a pull request, maybe by Alban, that it should be something like that. I don't know if Federico or Andrea are in, yeah, are online. Are we planning to introduce some the bug flag or something like that?
I think I lost a couple of sentences, sorry.
No, I just was saying if we are planning to add, if I understood correctly, add the bug information on Falco. I mean, and I enable libs the bug information when running Falco. Is that the question, right?
Yeah. Because I've been looking to see whether there is an option. I couldn't see it. But if we can turn if we have an option of being able to turn the debugging on from the libs, then there's certain things that can really help with when people are, for example, having issues with connecting to the container sock,
exactly,
and stuff like that. So it would be a really powerful thing to be able to, like, help people debug if we had a way of turning that on, if there isn't one already.
Yeah, I think we can do that in Falco, enabling basically libs debug builds, and we should be fairly okay.
Okay, I can create an issue around it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I can't recall if we already talked about this. Sorry, at the moment I can't really recall. I mean, I recall the issue, but I do not recall what we decided to do.
Yeah, I've looked around. I haven't seen anything that like popped out at me, so that's why I didn't. Before I created an issue, I just wanted to check to see whether there's.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. I was checking if we have already some option to print the bug information, but we don't have any. So it's time to add one. Good point. Okay, I believe we are done. Thank you to everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.